In one of my earlier videos, I talked about how I wanted to create a single layer SAK with an inline Phillips and an inline fine screwdriver. Since the fine screwdriver and inline Phillips are not along the same layer, one possibility would be to move the inline Phillips to the same layer as the screwdriver. This means I have to replace the large blade with the inline Phillips. In order to replace the blade with the Phillips, the backspring profile of the Phillips would have to be the same as the blade. As they are not the same, I have to modify the backspring profile of the Phillips to match that of the blade. However, after the project was completed, I deemed it was not acceptable as there is a huge protrusion due to the large overlap between the screwdriver and inline Phillips. I then went on to build another single layer SAK with the technician screwdriver and T-Phillips instead. I was left with a modified inline Phillips, which I then decided to build a second single layer SAK. Here I want to show how I go about modifying the original inline Phillips. At this point I would like to highlight that this video was compiled from different dates and using footage from my first failed attempt at a single layer inline Phillips with inline fine screwdriver. I hope this is not too confusing for my viewers. To match the backspring profiles, I traced the profile of the blade onto the Phillips. Then I proceeded to grind away the excess with my wet grinder. Checking the matching of the two profiles. This is what it looks like when coupled with the backspring. Take note, I have added a liner to compensate for the difference in thickness between Phillips and the screwdriver. I need to remove the portion of the additional liner that sits below the Phillips. This is the portion I have to cut off. Just checking to see if the thickness is approximately the same. We shall now take a look at the completed one-layer SAK. There is the inline Phillips. Instead of the long technician screwdriver, I replaced it with the standard screwdriver. On the back layer, I have an awl. You may want to choose a different tool if you don't want something sharp. Here you can see the additional liner that compensates for the difference in thickness between Phillips and screwdriver. There's the liner sitting beneath the screwdriver. I also made two small recesses for the inline Phillips to sit properly. Another modification I made was to square off the ends of the screwdriver so that I can use it as a scraper. The one in green was my first one-layer SAK with T Phillips and fine screwdriver. Here you can see the tools that comes with each single layer SAK. The green SAK has the technician screwdriver, large blade and T Phillips. The red SAK has the inline Phillips, standard screwdriver and awl. Note that all the tools in the red SAK can be found in the current Victorinox range. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoy watching it. Till next time, goodbye.